Yes, guys, welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. And yes, this is the stream. Kahin na kahin, I remember this is very nostalgic for me, particularly. And of course, OGs of the channel would know that we have started live stream from Euro 2020. So, somewhere down the line, ye hame karna hi tha. We had to get a couple of OGs back and couple of them who basically we love to have always. So, hopefully, you will have fun. But आज कर रहे हैं Euros Daily number 1 शुरू कर रहे हैं ग्रुप्स ए एंड सी से तो वहां पर वी आर हैविंग अ सर्टेन स्कॉटिश फैन इन द हाउस एंड दैट इज Doug. Of course, our OG is back in the house. Doug, how's life? Getting excited, I think, ready to create history with the Euros?
Well, thank you very much for the invite, Amka. It's great to be back. And yeah, life is good. Life is wonderful, actually. Obviously, I got a wee baby son now. So it's brilliant being a father. I'm absolutely loving it. So, no, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be back on.
Pleasure as well. Of course, Rakshit is definitely here, and Rakshit is, I think, I would say, master of all trades. Would that be fair to say, Rakshit? Ki, kahin na kahin, basically, we are looking at all the, player information and all the basically nitty gritties when it comes to the difference makers in the squads. So I'm pretty sure if the coaches watch this series, they'll be impressed with Rakshit more than anyone, right?
Probably call myself jack of all trades, to be honest. But excited to be discussing the Euros. Excited to know everyone's thoughts, especially about Scotland, because they had a very, very interesting qualification journey, which probably we'll talk about in due course. So yeah, can't wait for the Euros, and let's get cracking.
Absolutely, and here we have a English fan. Now that's going to be interesting. An English fan and a Scottish fan on the panel. Of course, ANC. That's the reason why I picked groups ANC. Although हम कहीं ना कहीं पूरा sum up करेंगे, guys. तो भाई Nathan in the house. Nathan, come on. Definitely not going to bottle it this time around, man. This is going to be England's. I think the first Euros ever, I believe, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah. No comment. We'll see.
We'll get there. We'll get there. It's coming from Rahul already declaring the house. बोल रहे, let's see. Harsha in the house. Big up again, guys. जो भी लोग देख रहे, it'll be great if you can like, share, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. We are doing this stream earlier than usual because I wanted to get an entire panel on, and again, it depends on the panel availability, etc. But at the end of the day, with the T20 World Cup happening on Almighty Sports, I think it kind of makes sense to do this early and then do that rather than do this after a tiring, 4-hour match, right? So everyone, let me know. Euros daily, आपको कितने बजे चाहिए उस समय हम करेंगे जो हम करते थे obviously just about 3 years back in 2021. Literally, I think Doug was there. I remember we used to do this Euros daily and we used to do scouting for our respective clubs and whatnot. As in that should be fun, and hopefully we'll have some fun with that because there are a lot of talented footballers out there. Of course, पहले पर ग्रुप्स देख लेते guys. Again, everyone kind of, I'm assuming by now knows the groups. लेकिन हम यहाँ groups A और C पर focus करेंगे आज. लेकिन we'll kind of look over the groups. The format is not dissimilar to what it was last time around. Basically, यहाँ पर I think there will be around a 16, around of 8, and quarterfinals, of course, semifinals, and then the finals, right? That's how it is. Having said that, each group में से यहाँ पर 2 teams जाएगी by default into the round of 16 and 4 best third place teams, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the panel or chat, but I think that's what the situation is. And of course, यहाँ पर there is a strong chance that a lot of teams go through, but again, those few teams who do not go through will be the unlucky ones. First, you know what? Let's call out the teams. क्योंकि ये पहला episode है in the Euros Daily. Let's call out the teams. Just a quick prediction going around the table. Which is the team which will be missing out from each group for sure, right? As in, मैंने poll भी डाला है, by the way, and that will be an interesting conversation before we get into groups A and C in particular. But Rakshit, if you have to pick, a team maybe from the first 2 groups, which are the teams that you think will not go through?
Group A is very difficult to call.
It is actually. वही तो है. सब लोग chat में भी बोलिएगा.
Yeah, I would probably go Hungary to finish 4th in the group and miss out.
Okay.
And I would back actually Switzerland or Scotland to qualify as one of the best third place
One of
teams
the
from
best
this
three.
group.
Okay.
They can
And Group
take
D, mein
points of each
to,
other.
again, I think it's quite evident that they should qualify as one of the best three. Otherwise, it'll be like a proper bottling
Should,
wala
yeah,
tournament for them.
all these three teams, Spain, Croatia, and Italy, to beat Albania. So that's 3 points
Okay.
in the back. Might be enough to finish as one of the best third place teams. Yeah.
Doug,
So
Group
Albania to
C
miss
and
out,
D.
Hungary to miss out. Yeah.
Okay. Group C and D.
Yeah, I think Group C is quite tricky. Obviously, you got England in there, you got Denmark in there. The one team I don't think you can count on is Serbia. So I'll probably say Serbia probably finished bottom of Group C. And then I think Group D, I think it's basically thank you for turning up Poland because if I'm being honest, I think Poland are in a very, very tricky group. You know, 3 very tough teams in there: Netherlands, Austria, and France. So yeah, I'm gonna say Poland finished bottom of Group D.
Nathan, give you Group E and F. Which are you picking to go out for sure?
Go out for sure. Romania and Slovakia in E, and F, I would say Turkey and Georgia. I'm not falling for that last year's Euro nonsense about Turkey being the dark horse.
Nice. Turkey, you know what? Matlab, to be honest, I'm in that crowd, which we actually saw some good football from Turkey. Like in defensively, they were woeful. I remember matlab, there were scores like 3-all and 4-3 and stuff like that. There was a Mert Mulder, from playing left back, right-footed left back, and I think I remember that. But again, that is for nostalgia. But guys, let's step into it. Obviously, यहाँ पर host is Germany. As much as we would have the England versus the Scotland fight, don't worry, the panel fight is definitely going to be happening. Yeah, so we cannot avoid that. But before that, the hosts are Germany. Now, Germany, I think, let's get it real. I think this is probably the darkest phase of German football in terms of international football. Rakshit, if you have to say कि कहीं ना कहीं जो German football से आप associate करते हो, they have won 3 Euro after all, and they are obviously one of those, always there or thereabouts in the, say quarterfinals or semi-finals or finals. लेकिन I think last 1 साल में उन्होंने hardly matches जीते हैं. Is it the flick effect, which probably you being obviously associated with Barcelona as well, maybe you must have studied a little bit more recently. लेकिन क्या लगता है, मतलब Nagelsmann coming in, taking it from Flick, do you think the entire the footballing philosophy of German football has kind of not really lived up to the expectations, or kabhi it's good to not have expectations? If you remember 2006 World Cup, Klinsmann, when he came, I think he was kind of fairly new and people didn't know what to expect, but they did very well for a host. What do you think will happen, Bar?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, yaar, ki, I think because there are not much expectations from Germany to win the Euros, right? I mean, obviously they are playing at home, but you talk about the German sides over the last 2 decades, right? If Germany is entering a tournament, they are expected to win it. So this might not necessarily be the case in this tournament. And I think ye unhe to a certain extent help karega, this lack of pressure, because everyone's talking about France and England and to an extent Portugal and Spain. I do have Germany as my semi-finalists at least. They are playing at home. But I think the darkest phase of German football is in the past now. I think you look at the current squad. Arguably, I think the panel would probably agree that Nagelsmann is one of the top 3 coaches in this tournament at least. Mere liye to he's like the best coach in this tournament, in the Euros, right? As far as managing countries are concerned. He's absolutely brilliant. And the squad he has at his disposal, the kind of performances they've put in over the last, I would say, 3 or 4 matches, with Wirtz, Musiala, Havertz blending in well up front, players like Leroy Sané are there. There is Gundogan in midfield. Kimmich is playing right back. He's taken a few risks as far as centre backs are concerned. I think it's shaping up to be a very, very exciting German team, and I'll probably be rooting for them to actually win the whole thing. So I think the darkest phase of German football is probably in the past. I'll be pretty pleased if Germany could win this actually.
मतलब कहीं ना कहीं you are calling the fact that एक तो host है plus Nagelsmann kind of now in the groove of things more than when he just took over. वो एक reason है, is what I understand from you.
And
also
the quality
fact
of the squad, right? I mean, he has a very good squad. I know defense is a problem. Defense is a problem for a lot of countries, including England as well, right? So I wouldn't say कि Germany का defense definitely England से worse है या better है, right? So, and attack wise, though, if he can get those combinations working right, Wirtz and Musiala and Havertz and all those guys up front, then they could be cracking.
इंटरेस्टिंग टेक, मतलब वही है, पैनल होती है तो हमेशा अलग व्यू पॉइंट मिलता है. आई एक्चुअली नॉट एक्सपेक्ट दिस, लेकिन रक्षित हैज अ वेरी लॉजिकल आंसर टू इट. गोइंग टू डग मतलब sticking to Germany, मतलब do you agree about the Nagelsmann point? Because I think Nagelsmann comes across like he's a young manager who's way too tactical for age, almost you can say that, right? And that's something very pleasing if you are looking at managers in the modern age, because every club was looking for it. Like all of a sudden we have Bayern Munich letting him go, and we all, मतलब we have to come to conclusions, guys. Everyone in the chat also, आप लोग बोलिए. Again, I think we have to come to the conclusion that somewhere down the line, Nagelsmann was hard done by, by Bayern Munich in the end, right? Did you see him as a international manager, and do you see him like, the way Klinsmann was in 2006? And I know that it came like a breath of fresh air and then went away quickly as well. Like, do you see him that, or do you see him as Joachim Low, someone who's there for the long run? How do you see him going?
I think you're absolutely spot on when you say that he was harshly dealt at Bayern Munich. I don't think he should ever have been let go. I think they were on a very bad run of form, but to be let go was really strange, because I think he had like the highest win percentage of any Bayern Munich manager as well. No, I like Julian Nagelsmann. I think he's a very good manager, and I agree with what Rakshit was saying when you say that Germany's sort of dark phase is over. I think it's a very exciting German squad we've got here. There's a bit of experience as well. I do say, though, I am a little bit concerned about them defensively. I don't think they're as strong defensively as they have been recently, but very exciting midfield, very exciting attack. I think Germany should do well. They usually do well when it's their home tournament. Obviously, you remember the World Cup. I think they got to the semis against Italy, and obviously lost that as well. So they've got a very, very good squad, and obviously Premier League based players. Obviously Havertz is in there, Pascal Gross as well. Not had the best season at Brighton as well, but I think it'd be an amazing, amazing story if Germany were to win the Euros. Toni Kroos in his final two tournaments, final of the Champions League, he wins that, and then goes and wins the Euros with Germany. It would be some story.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think one of the shot in the arm is also Toni Kroos. Nathan, आपको क्या लगता है? मतलब the fact is, again, it always helps that you have. मतलब I'm not going to be comparing him with Zinedine Zidane. मतलब I really genuinely believe that Zidane is, like, with all due respect to Toni Kroos, was also one of the goats. In my personal opinion, Zidane is like in the top 5, but the way that he had influence on France football, Toni Kroos probably doesn't have that influence on German football. But of course, he has lots, right? But Nathan, do you think that factor which Doug said about Toni Kroos playing his last tournament, right here, it's important, way too important. But at the same time, if you actually, people who obviously a lot of them followed Bayer Leverkusen this time, pretty sure, I think Andrik is one name that he always picks, Nagelsmann in his 11, from what I remember. So I think you can expect Robert Andrik to be kind of being that one midfielder. And again, we'll pick the 11 as well, Nathan. But what do you think about the Toni Kroos factor now? Again, it'll be interesting who are in front of him. Now, Toni Kroos, does he have that kind of legs? Always, he didn't depend on legs. But क्या लगता है, मतलब Toni Kroos को आप फिर भी खिलाओगे 90 minutes? Will he be a main player this time around? Or do you think Nagelsmann, because he's known to play that, say almost vegan pressing style at times, do you feel that he might go that way, considering that they are hosting and they need to take the, things by the scruff of the neck?
I mean, I think I don't think he's going to start. If he's going to go gegen pressing, I don't think it's going to suit Toni Kroos. I actually think he's kind of slow. Might sound controversial, but
Toni Kroos doesn't need the pace. That's the thing, right? That's the whole debate.
But he might. You never know, right? It depends on who you face. We are talking about
who's next to him, etc. Exactly.
If Rakshit is right, and I don't think he is. Just spoiler alert. But if Rakshit is right, he's gonna face opponents that aren't gonna. It's going to be intense, and you need legs eventually, one way or the other. So I don't think he's going to start. I
don't know, guys. It's a very controversial thing to. For me, so he's one of the first names on the team sheet, simply put, because I know that we are going to make the 11, and I believe Alexander Nubel is the only guy who's been missed out in this final squad. जो आज आ गया है. let's actually try and start making it while we look at other teams in the group. Of course, we'll come to a prediction as well. लेकिन सब लोग आप बोलो मतलब first of all, Rakshit, Germany has played multiple formations in the last 1 year. We remember, I remember there were times like Nicholas Sule played at the back and things like that. They played a back three, they played a back four. Kimmich again, one more debate that which is his best position. हमें पता है कि जब Hansi Flick खेलता था, he used to play Kimmich as almost like a right midfielder, right? मतलब which was neither a right back nor a central midfielder. So what do you think again, Kimmich's position को लेकर या generally what suits this German team? Because I think that one factor is always there. Although Kai Havertz has had a better season, Füllkrug is growing every month, but I don't think they have a proper number 9, do they? To begin. So do you see Rakshit them actually going with more like just midfield में भर दो 3-5 to kind of go with 2 false 9? Do you see that way, or do you see नहीं for the back ही जाएंगे?
Yeah, I think last 3-4 formations are a good indicator. He's hardly changed the starting lineup.
Correct.
So mostly he goes with a 4-2-3-1 formation with Havertz up front. Gundogan plays at the number 10 role. There is Wirtz who plays alongside Musiala on the wings. As you mentioned, Andrek is always the one who's का favorite hai. As someone who lends balance to the midfield in terms of it being a 6 is concerned. And alongside Andrek, that's the place for Toni Kroos, right? If he does intend to start Toni Kroos, that's the place. He has tried Pascal Gross there. He has a couple of other options as well. So I think either you will see Kroos, most likely you will see Kroos alongside Andrek in that position. Defense may mostly he's gone with a 4 at the back with Kimmich as the right back, as you mentioned. Now he is someone who can play multiple roles in the team. He does like to invert as well. He can offer width as well. Middle start is normally someone who plays as a left back. And the centre back partnership also is fairly settled with Jonathan Tah and Rudiger, right? With Neuer as the goalkeeper. So judging by the last 3-4 lineups he's put out over the friendlies and obviously it's only the friendlies for Germany. This is the sort of structure I expect him to stick to as far as the starting lineup is concerned. But as we know, I mean, this guy is a very versatile manager. He can change formation.
मतलब वही मैं बोल रहा था सडन से पता चले मतलब he does अभी सीजन चल रहा है इसलिए बोलते हैं he does a Maresca or a slot for all we know.
Yeah, and these formations are just, I mean, you can see a formation like 4-2-3-1, but there are multiple things which happen off the ball, on the ball, between things happening in the second half, tactical tweaks in between a match. And someone like Nagelsmann is a master of that. So expect a lot of tactical variance from him as far as the tournament is concerned. But if you talk about the first match against Scotland, I think this is the sort of 11 you will see for Germany.
Interesting. Again, मतलब in terms of the fixtures you're seeing, तो ये जो रक्षित बोल रहे हैं France versus Germany, Germany versus Netherlands, and Germany versus Ukraine में he has used exactly the same formation. Maximum 1 या 2 personnel का change हुआ है और उसका reason है क्योंकि finally they've got some results going, at least their way, because it was really going bad. But you know what, to be honest, don't read too much on the friendlies, especially when it comes to Germany. And when it matters, don't take that. Well, it's almost like for people know the context. But when it comes to cricket, Australia, I would put Germany in that bracket. Germany and Italy are when it comes to tournaments, never underestimate them. They suddenly turn up. And that's why you have to be very careful. Pudan is saying here, Doug, that Timo Werner should have been in the squad. Again, I'll go back to the squad and we'll come back to the formation which Rakshit mentioned about in terms of the personnel. But if you have to, again, notice the squad, like there's a lot of change that you see already. Although one can argue that Gundogan has again been picked because of being Gundogan. I would almost argue that, I know Nathan mentioned about Toni Kroos. I would almost argue that Gundogan does not merit a start. I know Barcelona fans, Rakshit might have things to stay there, but I believe Gundogan may be a question mark. But any particular names that you see? Did you see a Timo Werner giving you the X factor that probably Nagelsmann is missing in this squad? I believe I don't see a Gnabry either, right? Gnabry क्या injured है क्या? कि Gnabry है ही नहीं.
No. Yeah. There's quite an interesting mix of the sort of youth and experience in there. Obviously, you've obviously got Thomas Müller, Ilkay Gundogan as well. To be honest, I think Ilkay Gundogan was probably the first name on the team sheet at Manchester City. or one of them at least. I think.
No,
Look,
but my question again, sorry to cut you. Like, my question that is itself: would you have the luxury of having Tony Kroos and Gundogan in the 11 at the same time?
yes, I think you would. I think you
You
would,
would?
especially for Tony Kroos as a sort of a midfielder, and obviously as Raksha said, obviously with
Yeah, he's more of
Gundogan
a
as that
regista who
number
kind
10.
of drops into the left back position at times, right? These days.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Germany, as I said, I think the positions that I think they are weak is definitely probably the defense. I would say. No, I think as well. Timo Werner hasn't had a great time of it at Tottenham. I think is the safest thing to say. And I think Nagelsmann has gone on with form here for his team. So I don't see any question marks over Timo Werner being in there. Quite simply because I don't think he's been good enough the
And
last
he's been
12
injured
months.
as well, quite often, right?
Yeah,
In his
yeah.
short spell. So I think that's. But I think Bryant is one that probably sticks out along in Gnabry. Like again, these are either quality or consistent, one or the other, right? So I think there are some notable names that have been missed out. But again, at the end of the day, even if that's the whole point, right, that we're trying to make, that's why you cannot underestimate Germany at all. Like that's at your peril because Germany 26 members होने के बावजूद now they've dropped some star names. Just think about it. So कहीं ना कहीं Rakshit, what he said earlier is probably makes sense now. Jitesh is saying I think because Germany doesn't have proven striker, they should go with the Sane, Wirtz, and Musiala lineup. Interesting take that. Let's get back to the lineup. यहाँ पर मतलब again there can be a debate, but I think the recent games से जाए तो I believe more or less I think they have played both with one of them playing on the wing or rather both of them playing in the wing, Wirtz and Musiala at times. Nathan, what would you see? Would you see Sane definitely being a starting winger for Germany because he gives you that a different element altogether, like burst of the pace as well as directness? Yeah, would you go with Wirtz and Musiala on the wings with Gundogan and Kroos both being played in midfield along with Andrik? What is your five there?
I don't know if I'd go with Gundogan and Kroos together first of all, and I think you should. That injection of pace is always useful in a squad, and I think Leroy Sané should start. But the question is, in which order would you prefer who not to play? I think get Kroos off the bench, Maestro, pull something out of nowhere. I think it's better that way for him.
Interesting.
But, I mean, it would be very controversial if he doesn't start games. That's for sure, especially that. But
I actually agree with Nathan. I agree with you. I would say, but only because for me, Gundogan is that guy. For me, Kroos kind of starts because he's more like a orchestrator, dictator. You know what I mean? So someone who kind of,
like I said, I wouldn't start both of them. That's for sure.
Right.
Like one way or the other, I don't think I would start both.
Yeah, and I think everyone would agree with this. Goretzka has had a terrible season. Let's be real. मतलब हम सब टूकल पर गाली देते हैं रक्षित भाई. मतलब I think कहीं ना कहीं Goretzka is to blame. वो हैंसी फ्लिक का कुछ था पता नहीं क्या कौन सा औषधि पिला दिया था during the lockdown period. Goretzka kind of burst up like crazily. Remember right that season? I think that was it.
Yeah.
But I think this is something of a disappointment. Goretzka was supposed to be that next big thing in midfield. मुझे लग रहा था he's मतलब जो एशियन दिखाया था ना early days में, then he got injured and then his career kind of went downhill. Goretzka was even worse in my opinion. मतलब again midfield Andrik and Kroos with maybe Gundogan in front. That's one option, and Andrik with Kroos and maybe Musiala up front. Which is suited? Do you think in the group?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I agree with the. I agree that Kroos, Gundogan both maybe don't need to start. I'm okay with dropping either. I would, but maybe also drop Gundogan. Gundogan is very, very, very important for Germany. He has been that midfield linchpin for them over the last few years. But let's say I see a better fit if, let's say, you get a Kroos alongside an Andrik and dictating from deep, and you have someone like a Musiala playing number 10 with Sane on the right or Wirtz on the right, the other one on the left, and maybe someone like Havertz up front. So it lends a pretty good balance overall. But once again, I think the concern is the defense, especially the flanks. Kimmich is one-on-one not the best right back, I would say,
Hmm.
off the ball. And Mittelstadt is also good going forward. But if these guys are not afforded some protection by their wingers, then they may land in some trouble against like tricky opponents like France, for example.
fair point. And again, बहुत chat में जो I'm assuming you guys are Real Madrid fans, guys. भाई थोड़ा सा इतना टची क्यों जाते हो मेरे भाइयों? मतलब big ups to you guys. थोड़ा सा सुनिए पूरा. यहाँ पर point is no one is disrespecting any player. All you are saying is having Kroos and Gundogan together in the 11 when you have opposition like Scotland, for example. We will come to that, but I'm just saying like as an example. Or यहाँ पर let's be real. Imagine a McGinn. I know people will be laughing at us, but I think Doug will have us something to say. Imagine McGinn running at both Kroos and Gundogan. People will say, "Bhai, kaha McGinn, kaha Kroos or Gundogan." That's not how football is seen. Unfortunately, it's not how football is seen, right? You have to be wary of that. And of course, if you have, for example, अगर आपके पास है a Musiala words, we don't want a Musiala words doing defensive work all the time. ठीक है, वो भी है. तो I think you have to be very careful of your starting 11s because international football is like sometimes just a matter of 1 goal margin. ठीक है, तो I think there will be a little bit of they will be a little bit careful in picking, but Nagelsmann is Nagelsmann. I don't know what is good pick. Chalo, I know that Rakshit Bhai has to go. Rakshit Bhai, is it now or few more minutes?
Yeah, I can wait for like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, chalo. Let's complete the German squad and then we'll have the England Scotland debate and of course the other teams. But we'll go through prediction as well, guys. Again, जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं, do not forget to subscribe to the panel's channels, guys. यार टाइटल लंबा हो गया था मेरे भाइयों, सॉरी, लेकिन every channel is mentioned in the description. पहला लाइन है, come on, let's support all the channels. Big ups to you all. लेकिन let's do that. Lineup quickly बना देते हैं. तो I think 4-2-3-1 everyone agrees. I don't think anyone is going with the Nagelsmann experiment as of now, at least. I think 3 game में अच्छा किया है, right? So we are going with the same formation. Up front, does anyone want to play Undav or everyone's going with Fulkrug or Havertz? Chat बोलिए and let's go with Doug. Doug, which striker is playing?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Dennis Undav. I actually think he might start Fulkrug. I think he might start Fulkrug. I think he's had a very good season at Dortmund. So I'd probably say Fulkrug.
Okay, Doug, let me flip the question. For example, who do you think will be a more effective striker for Germany against Scotland, for example, considering the profile of your centre backs?
I would say Fulkrug because I don't think we're particularly good in the air. So I think if cross balls come in, I think Fulkrug could be a bit of a handful as well. And let's be honest, he's got very good upper body strength as well. It is Fulkrug, so I think that could be a bit of a worry on next Friday if he starts.
So it also depends on the full back, like I think Rakshit Bhai already mentioned, Mittelstadt and Kimmich ka matlab what is their virtue? Their virtue is kind of inverting or basically ball playing or basically as in going down the flanks or crossing. I would say with Germany we have seen Kimmich do the latter a lot. So I think in that sense, I think Fulkrug does make sense. Rakshit Bhai, Nathan, would you like to vote Doug out of this? Matlab, I know I'm kind of having the veto with me, but chat bhi hai.
I wouldn't trust Fulkrug.
Yeah,
but I'd go with Havertz. I'd go with Havertz because I mean I saw Fulkrug miss an absolute couple of sitters in the Champions League. I think it was the semi-final. I think. Oh my God, this is not looking good for Germany. I think I'd go with Havertz. I also think Havertz has the better form. I mean, unless he plays him at left back, that would be fun. that I would love to see.
Okay, so basically we are being outvoted by 2, Doug. So we'll have to go with the chat. Chat Fulkrug or Havertz भाई स्पैम कर दीजिए चैट पर, बिल्कुल अभी स्पैम कर दीजिए जब करना है तो. मनाज इंदाज मनाज व्हाट्सएप मैंने भाई अपोरला 15 इंदाज नाम ही चेंज कर लिया आप. अरे भाई साहब नाइस. Undav is better. जीके तो बोल रहे हैं. जीके तो obviously goes with the more of the unknown. मतलब that is GK's normal choice. लेकिन everyone else let me know. As in GK's changes as soon as I say that to Kai. यहाँ पर मेरे चैनल में आकर, अपने चैनल में आकर आप कई बोलोगे मुझे काइंड ऑफ रिमाइंड करने के लिए, आई नो दैट, लेकिन कोई नहीं, फुल क्रूग, देयर आर पीपल सेइंग हावर्ट्ज बैलेंस और विनर. But I think it's kind of, I think this is the point that Shania is making about Havertz bring more dynamism in Germany attack. He can play as false nine, cam wings, or you have basically a Musiala or a Wirtz kind of taking that space. I think कहीं ना कहीं I agree. और लेकिन वही चीज मुलर करता था, मे बी यू कैन पुट इट दैट वे. मतलब in a very very successful period for Germany, Muller used to do a lot of it, remember, but that is something that possibly you can see. So I think I have changed that, guys. मैं change कर रहा हूँ. Doug, we have been outvoted, man, both of us, can't help it. Let's go with the midfield quickly. Midfield, I think more or less we were settled, right? I don't think any one of us finally said that, you know, we would have both of Kroos and Gundogan, na? तो we'll have in cam position कौन खेल रहा है मेन? रक्षित भाई,
Is there no
think-
shout for Pavlovic? I thought Pavlovic was fantastic in the Champions League.
Pavlovic, one second. Pavlovic, I don't think so, because Andrik has been there, and I think it will be one of Gundogan, Kroos, possibly Kroos next to him. I don't know. Rakshit bhai, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, Nagelsmann is brave enough to play whoever he wants to, so we might see a completely different lineup to what we are predicting.
I'm putting
But,
Guardiola in Nagelsmann's position now.
Just knowing Nagelsmann and the way he has trusted Gundogan in the past, and this does not mean I will play him in this position. I think
Got it.
Nagelsmann will play Gundogan in this position for sure.
Hmm.
So more question marks are about Kroos, maybe in that
Got
number
it.
8 role.
Kroos might
But
be
I
an
think
impact
Gundogan
then
will
in
play in
that
this
case, you're
position.
saying.
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Should
fair
play,
enough.
yeah.
Because Gundogan ज़्यादा, I think he's played more for Germany consistently than
हाँ.
you know, most of them in the midfield. I get that. What about Nathan? What would you go with?
I mean, honestly, I was going to go Wirtz, Musiala, Sane. That's what I was going to do, front three
अच्छा,
behind
तो
the striker.
uh,
So I probably won't be voted. I mean, I'd pick
but to be
Wirtz and
honest,
Musiala, but
लेकिन actually, भाई, if you actually look at it ना, मतलब I get your point about, you know, Gundogan being trusted, but the group also we are looking at, right? We are focusing on the group first, right? और group में है basically Hungary, Scotland, Switzerland, and all the three, mind you, are known for that, you know, rush football. You know what I mean? तो वहां पर I think it will make more sense. I know you need the experience, of course, in Euros to begin with, लेकिन मुझे लगता है you might actually need that rush kind of footballers more in that, you know, attacking space, with basically, you know, safer options being in the number 6 role. Again,
No,
that's
see,
just
the
me.
thing is, we should not underestimate the quality of the player Gundogan, right? I mean, he's absolutely
Oh yeah, of
brilliant.
course.
So
No,
he can do everything.
I don't mean to say that
One
what Gundogan can do, I don't think others can do. That's the reality, actually, right?
yeah,
लेकिन
and another reality is you can't trust the main number 9 to score goals for Germany, right? Whoever it may be, right? They have been
Correct.
struggling with that position, whether it be Havertz, whether it be Fulkrug, whether it be someone else. So you do need runners from midfield who will contribute to goals, and Gundogan is the master of that, right? So I agree with you. I mean, Gundogan can press, Gundogan can pass between the lines, he can create, he can also make those late runs into the box and contribute towards the goals. And obviously, as you mentioned, he brings that experience as well. I believe he's also the main penalty taker, I think, for Germany. So keeping all these things in mind, I think he will somehow find a space for Gundogan.
And I think to
in
be
the starting
fair to be fair to basically the players being picked by Nagelsmann, Nathan, I think Sane, let's be real, Sane has again underwhelmed. I would like to say, although in sparks he's the best player, but at times he loses the ball like anything. And I think वहीं पर I think एक point we had discussed already, Kimmich, one-on-one basically there is a little bit of, I'm not saying that he's bad, but there's a little bit of an issue. So having Sane and Kimmich on the right wing is actually, you know, Bayern Munich has suffered at times, not defensively. So I think with that, I totally get that. And I think Nagelsmann has played that. So I think we are putting what you would actually see, right? So he's played Musiala more on the right, if I remember right, and Wirtz on the left. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat and panel.
Yeah.
But that's what he's done more or less.
That's what he did
So,
for the Ukraine game, I think. Even.
By default, yeah, as in that's what he does. And then we have, so now that we have picked this attacking 4, we are going with obviously Andrik is one person that he's I think picked always in the most recent games. So I think wo to rahega hi. I'll be really
Yeah,
surprised if he's
people.
not there.
I mean, there are few people in the chat who suggested a Cruz Gundogan pivot, but that will not work.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's like too good to be true.
You do need a water carrier in midfield, right? So that pair has to be Andrik. Yeah, someone has to be
Water
there
carrier
to do the
midfield.
dirty
Good
work.
one, good one.
Yeah.
What about you, Doug? What are you going with finally next
Um,
to Andrik?
next, Andrik. I mean, I kind of want to say Tony Cruz, but I think I kind of agree with what the others are saying. I don't think you can play both of them.
Yeah.
I suppose
Pavlovich
Kimi
possibly he could play there, or
Pavlovich,
you...
yes, yeah, I could probably say Pavlovich there.
Again, Pascal Gross could do a bit of both, right? And that's something that
Yeah.
he's gone with.
I mean,
Again,
Pascal Gross has actually been playing most of his time at right wing back for Brighton this season as well.
He's
So
been covering
that might be an option potentially. But no, I think I'd probably go with Pavlovich. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, and I think he'll be a very interesting player for sure.
इंटरेस्टिंग. अब मेरा यहाँ पर एक डिबेट है. अगर हम पावलोविच के साथ ही जा रहे हो, विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, if you have a Pavlovich Andrik midfield in terms of number 6, and let's be real, and they might become great players, and of course they are very good players already in their own right. लेकिन अगर हम थोड़ा सा अंडरवेलमिंग मिडफील्ड से जा रहे हैं, तो then why aren't we picking a box of his front four? Just asking. That's me being naughty. But so Pavlovich for Doug. Rakshit bhai, what are you going with? One name.
Cruz.
I would go with Gross.
Well, I said Pavlovich earlier, but I wouldn't mind Gross as well. I thought he's played really well in the league this season.
Yeah,
For
so I think
what opportunities he had, where he had to play.
So I think considering what khela hai in the German team recently, I think we'll probably see him.
No, but genuinely, like, because there are people in the chat like thinking we're disrespecting Tony Cruz. Just genuinely, does anyone think Cruz and Gundogan? Now you have to keep in mind that if they go as far as Rakshit says, for example, they are going to face tougher competition. So do you actually think they can both start in the same team? That's my thing. My thing is, do you think they can start in the team? First of all, do you think they're going to play 90 minutes, both of them? And then can they both start in the team?
No. Well, 90 minutes wala to no, obviously, right, Rakshit bhai?
That's what I think.
Cruz to no
too,
chance,
so.
yeah. Yeah. He might probably start Cruz and sub him off earlier. And then
I think knockouts mein, I have a feeling it might be the other way around though. Pata nahi kyun. Matlab, I feel it might be the other way around, where you basically need that, where every minute matters even more so. I believe so. Not overestimating. I know German fans themselves are saying that there's a chance that, we might not qualify. Wo to bhai aise hi bol rahe. They're just playing safe. German football fans, hear me out here. So I think defense kind of picks themselves, right?
Maybe.
I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about what he's been going for over the last 3-4 matches.
So we're clear. Havertz is not playing left back, right? We're clear on that. Havertz is not playing left back. No, I'm actually being serious. I mean, I can't be bothered to watch Germany play. I can't even be bothered to watch England play as long as that suit and tie donkey is managing them. So I'm actually asking a question. I'm not even making a joke. Like, is he really not going to play left back? Because is Mittelstadt good enough?
Schlotterbeck could play left back as well, meanwhile. That's one more option.
Yeah, he can. Yeah.
He has played. Doug, what are you going for? Is it going to be an... again, the fact is there is Wirtz and Musiala who are not like proper wingers per se, right? I think I would assume that means that Mittelstadt, probably will start. Right, and that's what I would say. As in, it'll be very surprising if you wahan par bhi if you go with Schlotterbeck and then you go with inverted wingers, then doesn't make sense. I know Gross can go wide if need be, Havertz can go wide, but who's giving you the width? Apart from Kimmich, there's no one in the entire pitch who gives you width, right? So I think I'll be really surprised if it's only one person. You need one. I think because you have picked this lineup, I think it makes sense to go with what I just said. Again, people in the chat can tell me if they disagree, but
sorry, Ankit, I'll have to push off.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna have to push off as well. So
no problem, no problem. People here, let's actually give a OP to both Rakshit Bhai as well as of course Doug. But people in the house, in case आपने subscribe नहीं किया, consider subscribing. Both the channels are linked in the description first line. Shout out है. जाने से पहले both of you all, of course, Doug, I wanted to hear you a couple of minutes for Scotland as well. But Rakshit, what is your prediction in terms of Group C? मतलब क्या आपको लगता है इंग्लैंड का साल है कि नहीं है?
Yeah, Gareth Southgate. I just don't trust the guy. I mean, if there was some other manager, I would probably say yes. There is absolutely no logic to why England should not win this. I mean, obviously, with no disrespect to the other teams, they have a phenomenal squad, right? I mean, attacking talent is concerned. They've had stellar seasons in their leagues for their clubs. I just feel कि he will find a way to mess it up somehow. He will find a way to mess it up. वही मेरा concern है बस. Otherwise कोई logic नहीं है.
Again, great to have Rakshit bhai OP यार. See you soon. Very of course ये तो शुरुआत है यूरोस डेली का, लेकिन hopefully we'll have you much longer. But I know Copa America भी pending है आपके साथ, वो भी बात करनी है. But yes, Rakshit bhai, so see you. But Doug,
See you soon, guys.
before you go as well, before you go, Doug, please let me know what do you think about, like, what are your 2 cents? Please give me your 2 cents about Scotland. Like, let's be real. Like, I don't know personally a more passionate Scottish fan than you, so I have to hear from you 100% there, please.
yeah, I'm be honest. I'm not going into these Euros with much optimism. Basically because of what happened the last Euros, I think everyone kind of went into that sense of being very, very optimistic and getting out of a group of obviously England, Czech Republic, and Croatia, and obviously came back to backfire, unfortunately. I think we've got a good team. I don't think it's a sort of a world-beating team, but I think the fact that we've got like very good teams in there, obviously Germany are fantastic, of course. Hungary, they've not been in the Euros for a long, and obviously we've got Switzerland there as well. I think if we get 3 points or somewhere in between 2 to 3 points, I think I'd be very, very happy. I think the game to target is definitely Switzerland. I think that is the game to target a victory. Germany, who knows? If we get a point out of Germany, then that is an absolute bonus. And again, I think it's a good time to play Germany because we don't know what Germany are going to be like as well. And again, Hungary are a very, very improving side. So not going into this with too much optimism, but if I had to predict where I think we would finish, I think we'll finish third, and I think we might be potentially one of the good 4 sort of third place teams. Hopefully.
Yeah, and one person who believe will have a tournament of his life, and one youngster that you're looking forward to as a Scottish fan, please.
The tournament of his life, I'm going to go Super John McGinn. I think you've got to. I think he's the talisman at this moment in time. One man I think might have a very good tournament, and I think he's up and coming, is Tommy Conway. I think at Bristol City. Watch out for him. He has the sort of the traits of Jamie Vardy almost. So
wow,
very, very excited to see what happens. Obviously, Tommy Conway has just actually been added because I think Lyndon Dykes is out of the squad as well. But look, I'm going to say it. I'm not going into these with too much optimism. We'll see what happens, but we're just going to enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely. Again, guys, scout for your respective clubs. That's what we do during the summer tournaments. Let's be real about it, as much as we enjoy the football. Again, it's again a first episode of many. So hopefully we'll have Rakshit Bhai and Doug again. Nathan is still here around. Don't worry, Nathan. Doug is not moving away from the fact that there was a debate to happen. So this debate will happen when the match.
No.
Happens.
I actually am more positive than Doug. I would say Scotland has the best striker in the group, Scott McTominay. Maybe you've heard of him.
But yeah, I forgot the Man United fan house.
I'm sorry. Do we not play? Do the international games don't count before the Euros, or is everyone like just forgotten about all of them? Anyway, never mind.
Friendlies, bro. Friendlies. They were all friendlies. Come on.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean I don't think that should mean Spain should let Scotland win.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. I don't know.
Nathan. I was at all four of the group stage games at Hampden. So all of them were very, very good performances. I mean, we deserved to win three of those, and that Spain game was unbelievable. The atmosphere that night, I think that's one of the best atmospheres I've been to as well. And just very, very quickly before I go, I know you were probably going to ask me what England's prediction I see. I see semi-finals, maybe final. This England team is very, very good.
Coming from a Scottish fan, that is big, guys. That is big. English fans.
Only debate I have is Gareth Southgate. Will he be able to do it this time? I'm not so sure, but
that's the discussion of the day. But great.
That England side, especially with the defense, the defense for me is the 1 week moment I think for England. But midfield, attack, yeah, absolutely stacked. I think, as I say, we all say attack is the best form of defense. I don't think you're going to need a defense. I think you're going to score a hatful of goals. So yeah, I think England should at least get to the semi-finals. Anything other than that is failure, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I also, just to add to Scotland, I do think Scotland's going to finish second.
Second
in the group, right? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that's itself a great, achievement for Scotland.
Listen, Ankit, Nathan. If we qualify out of a group stage, there's going to be a big party in Scotland because we've never qualified from the group stage. So we'll wait and see. But anyway, I'm off. I need to go back to work. But I'll see you later.
Nice stuff from Doug. Again, guys, Dugout Football Channel, check it out along with Football Fantasy Scout as well. But Nathan in the house here. So Nathan, the time is to discuss, of course, England. Let's be real. Again, one point that Doug already mentioned. Nathan, यहाँ पर हमने we have spoken about it enough. Gareth Southgate, right? Again, one can say that वो एक stability लाया है. He has got basically them getting that क्या बोलते हैं, youngsters being picked in the recent squad. मतलब first of all in the squad picks, guys. मतलब I think it should be a breath of fresh air. Nothing against Curtis Jones, nothing against my Ben Chilwell, for example, nothing against basically, I believe, Madison or for that matter, Jack Grealish. Like, I think it's got to be a breath of fresh air that despite having a 26-man squad, England have actually picked a lot of youngsters who have basically in the international circuit not done much. Like, I did not imagine, although they're very good players, mind you, but Kobe Mino, Wharton, as well as basically Palmer potentially getting game time and Eze as well. There's a strong chance considering that they are people who kind of open things up. You know what I mean? So that used to be one of the traditional problems of England. Correct, Nathan?
So I actually would like to say that in the last the last Euros, 3 years ago, I thought we had better attackers than defenders, but he kept playing 5 at the back. I think we can say it's a new, fresh squad in many ways. I agree, but I think our attack was just as good in 2021. Different players, some of them obviously. I would say the shock would be Eze. I don't think Mainu's a shock. I think if he played the entire season the way he started in Jan, I think he would have been called up. Wharton's a little bit of a shock, but he has been fantastic from what little I've seen of Crystal Palace games, like live.
Correct. Yeah, we were linked with him very strongly, in fact, and we were laughing.
Who else? Who else? Cole Palmer, no surprise. Not for me. Not as you know. I am very high on Cole Palmer in general. So no surprise for me at all with Cole Palmer.
But again, if you carefully notice, it's surprising for an England squad picking literally 1, 2, 3, 4 midfielders. Like literally there are 4, 5 because Jude Bellingham also I would like to say these days is more like a forward. Same like Eze, right? As in their roles have changed in the recent roles in the club. And Cole Palmer obviously plays a winger / cam, same as Foden. So I would say it's very strange. One of the I think brave things that Southgate different kiya is bar is like wo gaya hai, with someone who is not like a real holder except for Declan Rice. Apart from Declan Rice, there's no real holder, guys. A proper number 6. Even Mino can do that, but he's not that, right, Nathan?
No. At the beginning of the season, before he got injured in the friendly game in America, We were kind of hoping that he would play 6. I think he plays 6 and 8 in the youth. So he can do it double pivot, which I think in a very weird way would probably guarantee his place in the team based on that theory. But yes, there's no one else. I mean, listen, Phillips didn't deserve to be called in. Henderson deserved to be called in. People were like, "Oh, it's a shock Henderson didn't get picked." I'm like, wait, what? In the last Euros, he was picked because he was injured with Rashford, and they were just sitting there taking up 2 spots when Ward-Prowse and Lingard had the seasons of their life. Still
that
no
is something
call
that
for-
everyone is criticizing at that point. So it'll be double
Yeah,
standard if you say
no, but
otherwise,
what I'm
right?
trying to say is now 3 years later, they're like, oh, I'm surprised he didn't pick Henderson. Henderson to do what? He lasted 6 months in Saudi and played in an Ajax team that's the worst in the last decade, probably. Like, what is he getting picked on? Calvin Phillips has played one-off football before the World Cup. He still got picked. If he got picked again this time, it would have been an absolute travesty. There are so many. First of all, just one more thing: this Trent Alexander thing in the midfield and Jude Bellingham in the forward. This is all really weird recency bias. You can play everyone wherever you feel like, but that
Correct.
doesn't make it so. That doesn't make it so. I don't think so, at least. If Trent Alexander plays next to Declan Rice, we will get cut through. Mark
But
my words.
what about like the people who have not been picked, for instance, like if Branthwaite of Everton has not picked and you go with Dunk, etc. Would you see that he's tried to maintain that balance? I know Maguire was injured,
Yeah.
so I think his reason was different. Otherwise,
Yes.
pretty sure Maguire would have been picked. For people who are saying no Maguire, I think he's put out a interview as in kind of a
Calf
statement as
injury.
well.
Yeah.
Correct.
He's-
So that is it. But in defense, like in particular, like did you have any names? Because even for a left back, Luke Shaw hasn't played much of the season, right? Has he? So is it a bit too risky that he's gone with Declan Rice, the only number 6, Luke Shaw, the only left back, but he's played a lot of times with Kieran Trippier there. Can you imagine? Like there could be a lineup which we are going to make next, जहां पर हमारे पास guys right back हो, सेंटर बैक हो जो राइट बैक खेल सकता है जॉन स्टोन्स एंड और लेफ्ट बैक हो सकता है जो राइट बैक खेल सकता है किरेन ट्रिपियर. Imagine Kyle Walker, John Stones, and Kiran Trippier might actually play in the same 11, considering that Luke Shaw, again, if and buts, but again, if Luke Shaw is fit, everyone is starting Luke Shaw, right? I'm pretty much sure in the chat as well as Nathan.
No, I mean, listen, it's going to be interesting. The defense is going to be interesting. The people are saying it's our weakest point. I think it depends on who's playing, because a lot of these players have had very, very good individual seasons. I think Konsa should have been picked a long time ago. I always thought he was way better than that absolute fool who he plays next to, Tyrone Mings. He's an
Tyrone Mings,
absolute
exactly.
fool. He's an absolute fool.
I
and
have
people
one more
pick
question
Mings
around
first.
that, because you mentioned Konza, but what about the Konza of Liverpool? Why isn't he picked? He's had a good season.
So the Kwanzaa. Okay. No,
Yeah.
I thought there's another Kwanzaa. I got so confused. I was like, oh my god, now who is this?
I've noticed Liverpool fans pronounce his name that way. So maybe yaar socha wahi hai.
So I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the fact that he doesn't want too many youth players in the team. That's it. Like, as an option to actually be picked, not in the squad. I mean, like, to actually be picked. Not
But
because
yeah,
Bradford will back time. I don't think
this
so.
point I agree, but the fact is I don't think it's about the defense. It's about generally, देखो इंग्लैंड का हमेशा डिफेंसिव स्ट्रक्चर रहा है. अब वो जो स्ट्रक्चर है ना, as much as we don't like Maguire, a lot of us, I know Nathan might say otherwise, लेकिन Maguire, Stones have played forever with one of those, either of Kyle Walker or Trippier. So those 3 in the back 4 is a no-brainer with Luke Shaw playing there if he's fit.
They also played in a back
Pickford.
5 with Walker. No, they also played in a back 5 with Walker.
Correct, with
the
Walker,
last
exactly. वो लोग वो भी खेले. Plus Declan Rice ahead. Plus Bellingham. Now Bellingham ka, if you remember, in the last build up to the last time that basically you had a major tournament, Bellingham ka role was supposed to be something of a upgrade to a Declan Rice. He wasn't known to be that player who would score as many goals. But abhi कार्लो एंचेलोटी ने उसको अनलॉक कर दिया पोटेंशियल. तो वहां पर आई कैन maybe if you need a second kind of DM which as a second man, Kobe Mino isn't a bad man, of course, right? And Conor Gallagher has played that as well. So I could see both of them or either of them kind of playing it. Lekin I think considering ki Nathan, in the group you're expecting England to have more possession. So when you have more possession of the ball, even as a Chelsea fan, I would like to say Kobe Mino is better than Conor Gallagher on the ball. as much as Conor Gallagher has way many other things to give. But I think Conor Gallagher is much better off the ball, if you know what I mean. ठीक है, तो वहां पर England will be expected to have more possession, so I think it makes more sense to kind of go that way. But again, Trent, for all we know, could kind of play there, and it could be a back five where he could step into midfield. Guys, very interesting यार. लेकिन भाई जो भी लोग यहाँ पर है अभी तक 100 लाइक नहीं हुए. सीरियसली गाइस, क्या क्या हाल चाल है भाई ऑलमाइटी फैम का? आ जाइए सब लोग. Let me just share it in the community post as well. लेकिन everyone knows, hopefully notifications आ रहे. अगर नहीं आ रहे तो भाई hit that bell icon again, hit that like button, and do not forget to check out our panels channel. लेकिन everyone in the chat, आप लोग बोलिए the starting lineup for England क्या होने वाली है. Nathan, over to you my brother. What do you think your starting lineup is going to be like?
Shaw, if fit, Shaw. Actually, you know what? Let's go with people who I know are fit for sure. Trippier, Stones, Walker. I'd go with Gomez. I know. I think Konsa, depending on game, I'd go with Gomez because of more big game experience. Kieran Trippier played left back even when we had Ashley Young a long time ago at left back. So he has deputized left back for a long time, even before Shaw. So Trippier's, Pickford, one last dance. Pickford, Trippier, Walker, Gomez, and Stones. In the midfield, I'd have Mainu, Rice, Bellingham. Right wing is the most contested for me. I'll go to that later. Left wing, Foden. Up front, you know who he is. You know, I don't even need to.
And one more thing, by the way, Harry Kane is dealing with a lot of pressure this time, potentially because he's also playing in Germany, mind you. Or he's had kahin na kahin, although he's done brilliantly, lekin kahin na kahin Harry Kane curse has come back biting to him. So he has like almost like the last major tournament internationally. Well, would you say that in terms of his form at least?
Yeah, I think he could make it to the World Cup, but
he can, but I don't think he'll be the player that he is today.
I mean, listen, I don't even. If you look at it down the line, Ivan Toney is going to be 30 and Watkins is going to be 28. Are they going to be the same forwards they are 2 years later? He probably has a good chance to play, quite honestly, if he maintains his form. Based on these three that are picked, obviously, there's obviously Dominic Solanke also was a little unfortunate to miss out on the pick. You can only pick so many strikers, but for
Yeah.
So Kane, Foden, and for me, it's either Saka or Palmer. I would start Saka. I don't think it's fair on Cole Palmer's to put pressure on him straight away. But just like he did the stupidity in the last Euros of playing Foden right wing because he refused to play Saka in the beginning matches. The moment he switched sides and Saka started playing, we started playing a lot better because Foden doesn't really play on the right, no matter how good a player he is. So I would go Saka, Kane, Foden.
Okay, guys, जो भी लोग यहाँ आ रहे हैं ना भाई, why do people think that we are comparing when you're saying that he'll rather play Maino than Gallagher? That is no comparison, guys. थोड़ा सा मतलब keep your eyes and ears both open when you watch and hear football. Simple as that. It might sound rude, but that's the reality, guys. Take it from someone who's watching football from 30 years. ठीक है, simple as that. आपको सुनना है तो सुनो. आयुष मेरे भाई कोई compare नहीं कर रहा. मैं वापस से बोल रहा हूँ. In terms of on the ball, being a Chelsea fan and a hardcore one at that, I'm directly telling you, Gallagher is question mark. इसलिए Enzo Maresca ball में he has been a question mark in terms of him being continued, and we rather make money of it is what our directors are saying in terms of football. Lekin in terms of off the ball, he is better than anyone in the squad. That's how I'm saying. So you cannot just compare X to Y. These are two different players altogether. Who would fit the profile or the context of the team better? If you are all saying, bhai, come on, pretty sure you would say that without a shadow of a doubt, Scholes was the best midfielder. I would say Scholes was the best midfielder in some things for sure, but some things which Lampard and Gerrard could do, Scholes couldn't do, and vice versa. That was always the case. So I think जो comparison होती है ना, which is unfair होती है. तो यहाँ पर we are trying to pick based on the group, based on the personnel, and based on the squad or the manager tactics. We are going to pick 11. तो हम वो कर रहे हैं. We are predicting that. ठीक है. तो simply put. But yeah, it's never a crime. But मैं यहाँ कर भी ना. I'm just trying to explain myself. You guys are trying to bring balance in the team while forming the 11. Exactly. That's the whole point. And I think as much as that is important, the X factor is important. यहाँ पर मैं देख रहा हूँ comments about Grealish. You just said, Nathan, you've given the answer that you're going to play Foden. You cannot just leave out Saka. That's for sure. And I agree with you 100%.
I mean, you can leave out Saka because Cole Palmer. I think if
Yeah,
you want to go by
again, but
if you want to
in
go by
terms of the
individual
profile of player,
seasons,
I'm saying you cannot leave the
yeah,
profile of left-footed guy basically playing there who kind of is more comfortable on the wing than central. Foden ka ulta hai, in my opinion. Foden can play on the wing for sure, very good, but he is world class. Playing in that number 10 role, मतलब in that false, false 10 as they say these days, right? तो वहां पर guys, do you all agree with Nathan? जर्मनी का हमने सेम चीज किया था, रिमेंबर जर्मनी ऑल्सो वी पिक्ड. एंड बाय द वे गाइस, जो लोग लेट ज्वाइन करे, डू नॉट फॉरगेट टू हिट दैट लाइक बटन. मैं देख रहा हूं लाइक, come on, we have to reach 125 likes at least on the stream, and everyone needs to subscribe to our channels. We can do that, simple as that, to other channel as well. लेकिन जर्मनी का हमने वापस से पिक किया था, मतलब for people who are late, we had picked this 11, remember. So going by this 11, Germany का, लेकिन you have two fullbacks who are your traditional fullbacks who can bomb down the right hand side, who could put in crosses. While right side में है इंग्लैंड का, left side में again, are you assuming that you're going with a Luke Shaw? That is why you would go with that, Nathan?
well, I went with Kieran Trippier, right? I'm going with people who are guaranteed fit. So because
So
I can't
don't
think
you
of
think
Luke
वहां
Shaw as
पर
fit
थोड़ा
because
सा
I don't know.
left hand side is a little bit in terms of width an issue?
I think I think Menu and Foden cover so much ground. I won't have to worry about width. And I think certain players will guarantee to be double up. Bellingham double up, create gaps. Foden double up, create gaps somewhere else. Kane will drop in. Will do the prime Tottenham Kane. Best number 6 in the world, as I like to make the joke. Um, it'll be very dynamic. We can play across all three wings plus the 10. A lot of dynamism. I am looking forward.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Guys, आप
and
लोग भी
also
बोलिए
someone said we don't have the defense to win the Euros. Well, if we put away the goals, we won't need to have the defense to win the Euros. I don't think we play an Italian style where they win like 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 every game. So
Interesting,
could be wrong.
interesting,
Could be
guys.
wrong.
Yep, again, it could be for sure. But एक second, let me just say, people are messaging me while I'm live, guys. But having said that, guys, again, scouting is one thing. Nathan, he's taken a lot of youngsters. Against which team do you think he'll kind of change that lineup that you've put? Again, हम lineup confirm करेंगे with the chat as well. लेकिन what do you think? Again, Akshay, it's rotation, either Gundogan or Tony Kroos. People join the live in time, guys, so that you guys join the conversation. Again, हमने reason दिया है, मेरा खुद नहीं है, पूरे panel और chat का मिलाकर है. लेकिन हाँ, coming back to this, because he may not play 90 minutes, but in terms of the changes that you see that he would first make, in terms of the group, like, obviously, England ke group mein you have you have to say Denmark is something that you played last time around, like semis, if I remember, of the Euros. Serbia can't take them lightly either. Denmark and Serbia, Slovenia, again, they've got that striker that we are going with, Sesko. But in my opinion, again, Denmark hasn't been the Denmark of what they were. I know the Christian Eriksen moment is something that we'll never forget last Euros. Se. Of course, that's something that I hope doesn't repeat ever in the history of football. Lekin Serbia can be that dangerous element. Serbia ke paas, you have this like tall strikers available, right? So with that, do you see in the defense, because people are calling out the defense, right? Do you see some changes in defense for certain games, or what changes?
I think the only game, this is going to sound very arrogant, but I think the only game we have to worry about is Denmark. And you can make the argument that our back four was kind of weaker when we played Denmark in the Euros. We have younger, quicker center backs in this game. I mean, in this time around because of injury and stuff. I think the only game they could possibly change is Denmark, but you have to also realize something, right? They might just make changes if they have comfortable leads, get some rotation. And I remember Italy doing that in the Euros. They got like their third goalkeeper on, and you might get a game like that where you can actually rest people, so you can see how they actually play in the setup as well, which is a very rare occurrence, but we might have that opportunity to do that. So looking forward to that possibly.
गाइस इंटरेस्टिंग, आप लोग साथ में बोलिएगा इन द चैट अगेन, मतलब इन टर्म्स ऑफ द प्लेयर टू वॉच आउट फॉर अमंग द यंगस्टर्स, यू टू पिक वन नेम, चैट और नितिन आप लोग बोलिए। मतलब एक होता है ना, आई रिमेंबर द सम ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट्स वेयर यू हैड दिस प्लेयर बर्स्ट आउट, नाउ व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी दैट प्लेयर दिस टाइम अराउंड फ्रॉम इंग्लैंड यू थिंक?
I mean, it has to be Kobe Mainu.
It has to be Kobe Manu, you think so? Well, again, that I'm assuming that means that you're assuming that Kobe Manu is kind of starting each and every game, no matter what.
I think he can help Declan Rice.
Hmm.
Not the most, but I think so. What I really love about Kobe Mainu is the fact that he's so composed for someone so young, and I think that composure with alongside Declan Rice to help him out might be quite essential in some games.
Interesting.
He started his first game back, like one of his first games back. He played at Anfield, played at Everton's ground, Goodison, and I think he played
Hmm.
somewhere else. That was like his first three starts. So if Gareth Southgate has trust in him, see, it all depends on who gets picked, right? We are assuming a youngster, quote unquote, is going to play a consistent part of the tournament. It could not be the case. But if there was one that is not like first tournament, first time player, I would say Menu would be the one.
Interesting. Anyway, guys, again, coming to the chat now, let's make that 11. एक second, I'm just looking at it. I think with minor midfield is the best in Euros. बोल रहे जितेश. Ooh, that's a big call. That's a big call. That's a big call. I must say. मतलब I know that it's possible. Nathan, you won't like me saying it, but honestly, मतलब I know he's had some brilliant games at this age, and I know Scholes has said that he's basically what 10 times the player that I was at his age, and I agree with that totally. But I would still say doing it at an international stage in a major tournament is a totally different thing, and I think this is the biggest test for him yet. And I believe, yeah, you have to kind of put him there to kind of know what he does. But I still believe that he's a little bit undercooked for that stage. I might be wrong though. लेकिन ये मेरा
No, but
take
he's
है.
definitely, see, in general, he's
He's
definitely
potential,
undercooked. No,
definitely. I
anyway,
see.
he has like a
We can
handful
work
of
on it.
caps. He's undercooked.
Hmm. So I think that's the only thing. क्योंकि if I'm seeing certain other midfield, Jitesh, I'm seeing basically that midfield being a little bit more ready, that compared to England. Although obviously the Declan Rice is there, but आ जाते हैं guys. तो guys सब लोग formation बताइए. I don't think there's any secrets, right? Gareth Southgate football. मतलब do you see a 3 at the back or do you see the 4 at the back?
Listen, if he does a three at the back, I don't think we're winning this time, no matter what. Like
For
let's
certain
assume
case we
let's
will do it whether we like it
no
or
no
not.
no
We will
because
do it.
no you are see, I have been very consistent with one thing. No, we are talking about squads and everyone's talking about balance and all that. No, the one thing I've always from the last World Cup and sorry from the last Euros, I've been very consistent about one thing and one thing only. If we have better attackers than defenders, no, you select your best attackers and play football. Simple. Don't do any of this back of the five. To, in the last Euros, people might forget, but we had a back seven. We played Rice and Phillips with a back five. Like, if we have and all the attackers are sitting on the bench, some attackers are sitting at home. Like, and then when we needed it against Italy, we had none. So if you have better attack, if you look at the squad on a piece of paper and you go, oh, my quality is the quality is in the midfield and attack, then you try and get your best players in those positions to play as many games as possible to give you the best chance. Everyone in the chat, and I don't disagree with them, they're all saying that our defense is the weakest, right? So we can't really do anything about that, right? The players are the players we have. So what we can do is we can counterbalance by getting the best attacking and holding players we can to try and mitigate the possible openings in the defense. So for me, the one thing I was always consistent about is you get your best attackers on the pitch if your defense is weak, because you can't. What are we going to cry about having no defense? That's not going to help.
But again, can't say that basically, it's basically, it's a given. So chat, सबसे पहले डालता है goalkeeper में तो
Actually, you know why it is a given, Ankit? Because if I saw your post correctly, we have 8 defenders. If he plays 5 every game, he's going to run them down the ground. Everyone's played 60 games this season. It'll also be really stupid. Trippier and Walker are not exactly young people. It'll be absolutely stupid if he plays a back five. So that's why I said if they play a back five, you can forget about like even asking, oh, do
And
we have a
Trippier's
chance?
crossing a
It's
second to
pointless.
none. Let's get that right first. Absolutely. So John Stones, and who's the second centre back starts next to him then?
For me, I would go Gomez or Konsa. But someone said that John Stones might also not be fit, so we might actually have Konsa and Gomez anyway.
No, I think he's got 1 month rest. I think he should be fit is what I understand at least right now. But
I'd go
centre back,
Gomez.
my guys, let me know centre back में कौन रहेगा? John Stones is the given, considering Maguire is not there. But John Stones का partner, I'll be. I think I don't know. I feel that he might just go with Mark Gahey, a little bit solid player. I'm going with Mark Gahey. I don't think while Joe Gomez has had a very good season, mind you, lekin Joe Gomez he would like to come on a substitute basically to kind of protect that width is what I would say. Ben Dunk is what भाई सब लोग अलग जा रहे हैं ये क्या हो रहा है चैट बोल रही है Ben Dunk पैनल बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पर कौन सा या
Sorry, Mark Gay. Shub is just putting all the names in the.
What's happening, guys? Come on. I think Mark Gay. I know what. I'll use my veto for first time in the stream, bro. इतना तो बनता ही है नहीं. Let's do it. I think maybe because of the ex-Chelsea connection मैंने बोल दिया. लेकिन Mark Gay, I think कहीं ना कहीं in terms of just with Stones, I feel that might be the better partnership. Although Konza is also definitely a possibility in my opinion. Joe Gomez I really doubt honestly. लेकिन हाँ, might be wrong knowing the Southgate. Obviously यहाँ पर Declan Rice on the bench, right? सबसे पहले डाल देता हूँ उससे नहीं तो पहले people will be like okay
who knows I might able to sing rice baby this time in celebration.
What about Wharton, guys? Wharton आपको क्या लगता है he'll be off the bench?
He won't go too young, Ankit, no matter what we say. That's why I didn't pick Gay either. I picked Gomez because he has more experience and he is older. Actually, I don't necessarily. If it was up to me, I'd probably take Konsa because I'm very impressed with Konsa overall. But like in general, not this season. But
for me, in midfield also, I think basically he's taken a chance, and I believe he might actually fall back to Trent, kind of playing midfield and then stepping into the fullback role.
We will get overrun if Trent plays next to Rice. No matter what anyone says, best at attacking right back, CS cross. I'm telling you, we'll get run over completely. Completely, we'll get run over. 100%. I'm very confident about that.
Yeah, again, it might be a thing for you're right. And who plays behind the striker?
It has to be Bellingham. Bellingham. Hey Jude, however you'd like to say it.
I hope he doesn't play Bellingham in that next to Rice wala role. By the way, I'm just saying.
But here's the thing, right? This is another issue I have. Bellingham was bought for that. The reason Dortmund signed is because his jersey's retired. His jersey's retired at Birmingham City as central midfielder, not as a guy who scores goals or anything like. Even if he plays him behind, then I'd put Foden here and probably go Gordon on the left. Like, yeah, we have the dynamism to do something in the front four. It's the back four that worries me. If he puts Bellingham across Rice, he can still conduct play from deeper. He'll get into the tackles. He'll do that and all, but. I mean, like now everyone is saying this thing where like Bellingham can't play in the middle now. I'm like, that's how he made his career. The reason everyone knows Jude Bellingham is because that's what he did. I get it, 20 goals, Pipichi almost, like that's fantastic, respect. I love it personally anyway, but you also have to realize that that's not what he was bought for. Anyhow, anyway you slice it, that's not what he was bought for to Madrid. That is not what he was bought for to Dortmund, and that was not why he started games in Birmingham City. Anyway,
interesting guys. So भाई हम लोग 11 बना दिए इंग्लैंड का, हम लोग बना दिए 11 जर्मनी का, हम लोग ने predict कर लिया groups. To begin the stream, for people who missed out there, we already said who are going to qualify, who's not, and for people who जो format भी देखे भाई, again check out the beginning of the stream. Do not forget to like the stream, और साथ साथ में हम Euro bracket पूरा complete भी करेंगे. As the Euros daily go on, of course, we'll have other guests as well, depending on the side that they support or generally as well. Don't worry, I'm here. No matter what, as of course Nathan is here and others as well. लेकिन भाई जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं, do not forget to subscribe to their channels as well. It's linked in the description. First line in the description. Format, I must say that basically speaking, the permutation combination is quite a lot. So abhi deep down
someone picked Scotland to go second. Is that what it is, or is that just like the full thing? Am I not seeing the full picture properly?
No,
that
no,
what it
it's
is, or is
basically the groups. No one has put
okay,
the
all the groups,
lineup.
all the groups.
Yeah, it's just the groups which are listed below. But anyway, ये हम बाद में complete करेंगे पूरा सा as we kind of go through the groups. So guys, we have spoken about group A and C. Of course, we didn't discuss Denmark in detail. We didn't discuss Serbia in detail. But we had the Scottish fan, we had the English fan. Of course, me and Rakshit Bhai being neutral, so we covered Germany as well, the major sides. But don't forget, I believe मेरा एक call है. Watch out for Switzerland. I think Switzerland might have again all the tournament teams, man, tournament teams, and Switzerland is a tournament team. So don't be surprised if Switzerland suddenly turns up. That's my prediction. यहाँ पर Group A से Hungary, I know they've been very impressive lately, like Scotland. लेकिन Germany and Switzerland, I'm calling in Group A and Group C में which are the obvious ones. Third best choice भी हो सकता है. लेकिन third group में Group C में मुझे लगता है it should be. I think it should be England and Denmark, but again, don't sleep on Serbia is what I would say. But guys, again, big ups to everyone. Again, 1.25 घंटे का stream है. Hopefully आप लोग 125 likes कर दिए है और everyone is subscribed not just to our both channels but also to Nathan's channels. Guys, कल बड़ा प्रीव्यू है भाई on Almighty Sports, so जुड़िएगा सब लोग. Almighty Sports में of course India Pakistan preview we are doing it with guests, so don't forget that. As well as obviously यहाँ पर Euros daily continues, so don't worry about anything. Just have fun and enjoy the Euros. अभी के लिए इतना ही है. Love you all no matter what, and big ups to Nathan and the rest of the panel. Bye guys.